Hello, welcome back. It's Sarah from Roadworthy. I wanted to do a little September reading highlights. Um, September was it was kind of an okay month. Um, but I did read a couple of books that I think surprised me how much I enjoyed them. Um, and I thought it would be good for me to talk about them yet again, just to encourage people to try and pick these up because, maybe you'll be surprised too. The first one I'll talk about is River East, River West by Aubrey Lescure. This was, I believe, longlisted for the Women's Prize this past year, 2 years ago, this year. Anyway, and I've really gone off the Women's Prize. The past couple of times where I've tried to read a number of books from the long list, I've DNF'd like most of them. So I'm not a fan. And so I was really surprised that I liked this book as much as I did. Um, this is sort of described as a reverse immigrant story. This is really about Alva. And when this opens, um, Alva it's 2007. Alva is 14 and she is at her mother's wedding in Shanghai. Now, her mother is white and she's marrying a Chinese businessman. And Alva herself is also of mixed parentage. So it's a coming of age, right? So we see Alva um, as she goes from just her and her mom sort of trying to get by in Shanghai to marrying this wealthy businessman. And she decides she doesn't want to go to Chinese school anymore. She wants to go to the international school with all the expats. Um, and, coming of age hijinks ensue. But you get not only Alva's point of view, but you get Lu Fang's point of view, and he is uh, Alva's stepfather. And you quickly find out that he and Alva's mother, Sloane, have a history together from 1985. So you start to understand their relationship more and learn more about Sloane at the same time that you're sort of following Alva. What I really liked about this was it's part coming of age, part family drama, but also part social commentary. So there's a lot in here about class, race, um, race identity. What makes an American American? What makes a Chinese Chinese? Um, there's also a lot of criticism of the expat community, and sort of making it look like you have a new brand of colonization here in China, and the Chinese government's complicity in sort of allowing um, this colonial behavior for its own purposes. I like a coming of age novel. Um, so I liked that it was that, and I love a family drama, so I loved that piece. But I also really liked, again, the exploration of this Shanghai's expat community and in that social commentary. So all of those themes together I really enjoyed. And this is a debut book. And so, again, I thought Lescure actually really did a good job tackling all of these sort of disparate threads. So, give this one a go. If you're like me and you're not a fan of the Women's Prize. Touching on prize books, I want to talk about The Most by Jessica Anthony. I'm throwing this in here because this was longlisted for the National Book Award. It was not shortlisted. And I can't say whether I'm disappointed or not because I really haven't read very many books off of the long list, so I can't really say whether that was deserving or not. But I can say this book is deserving of attention. It is a novella that takes place basically in one day in 1957. And we have Kathleen, our mom, stay at home mom, her husband Virgil, and they have two kids, two boys. And Kathleen, on a random Sunday, decides to get in the pool and decides she's not coming out of the pool. So Kathleen and Virgil, they seemingly have this perfect marriage family sitch going on. And you get alternating points of view from both Kathleen and Virgil. And you find out, how they met. You get glimpses into their marriage, and of course secrets start to come out. I do like books about that explore marital relationships. I couldn't quite decide what word to use there, because it's not necessarily dysfunctional, um, but in this book, it's sort of a stifling marriage. You sort of start to get a portrait of two people who they're just ill matched. They're just not doing anything for one another. Um, and this is, I don't know, it's a novella. It's maybe 120, 130 pages. And I just thought Anthony does a really good job of really using just enough pages to say what she's got to say. I thought this was a really strong novella, and I think it's definitely, it was worthy of being longlisted, and I think more people should pick it up and read it. Um, I have two other books I want to talk about. Smothermoss by Alisa Alering. This is not my normal cup of tea. This is sort of gothic, supernatural horror. I don't know what to describe it. The plot revolves around Sheila and Angie. Sheila is in high school, and Angie, I believe, is in middle school. Um, and this takes place in the 80s, and they live in rural Appalachia. And there is a murder of two hikers on the Appalachian Trail that occur very close to their house. Um, and so we sort of follow these two girls. And what happens is, their as this murder goes on unsolved for longer and longer. There is a supernatural element to this book. Sheila has a rope around her neck that is getting tighter and tighter that nobody else can see. There's this reoccurring imagery around rabbits often getting killed. um, there's Angie creates these tarot cards, I guess I want to call them, with these really often gruesome images, characters, monsters on the cards, um, that she consults to help her make decisions and guide behavior. And sometimes she'll give a card to someone because the card is telling her to. Um, so, what I love about this book is the menacing, oppressive vibe. Um, you know, you've got their rural poverty that is crushing to them. They're constantly battling dirt, food insecurity. Um, they're ostracized at school. Nature is very menacing in this book. The mountain that they live near is a character, um, sometimes helpful, sometimes not helpful. Um, there's it just if you're a reader who really loves sort of atmosphere, I think that this is a great one. There's just a lot of tension and menace and disorientation, and yeah, it just has great vibes, and will be great for the spooky Halloween season. The last book I want to talk about is Hum by Helen Phillips. I love cli-fi. This is sort of echo horror, climate fiction. Um, I'm sure there's a term for books about the evil of technology. um, but I this is a book about May and her husband and her kids. May has lost her job. Her job was helping train artificial intelligence to have more natural human speech. And of course, once that aim is achieved, she's lost her job. This is a world where um, robots are sort of ubiquitous. They're referred to as hums, but a lot of like your service jobs, waiter, waitresses, cashier, have been taken over by hums. Um, and and so I love the world that Phillips creates in this book, largely because I wholeheartedly buy it. Using robots to fill service industry jobs seems very logical to me. Um, and, uh, using AI to support capitalism, we're sort of there, right? I love how when you're interacting with a robot, let's say you're buying, uh, you know, I, I don't know, something in a store. Well, this wouldn't happen because, of course, you'd have it just delivered. Um, but you're buying tickets to well, there's she's buying tickets into the biological or botanical garden. And in the middle of the transaction, it'll be like, Nay, I notice that your vital signs are high and you're experiencing stress. perhaps you would like some vitamins that are customized to support women your age experiencing high levels of stress. Do you approve this transaction? You know, um, so again, having ads just thrown in your face, it just feels super natural and logical to me. Um, so sort of the capitalism run amok I love in here. Again, as the climate is deteriorating, access to nature, clean air, clean food, clean water, all of these things start to become commodified, right? Your access to a park isn't assured, you need to pay. Um, and that, again, I think, uh, as it feels very believable to me. I don't want to say what happens in this book plot wise, but one of the things that I love that Helen Phillips does is really illustrates this sort of love-hate technology that I think many of us kind of appreciate. Um, I hate carrying my phone and being interrupted and, you know, being readily available and available all the time. But, when I want to go somewhere and I don't know how to get there, it's really convenient. So, I think we all sort of feel that way, and that love hate tension is a major point in this plot. Um, in that May, at a certain point in this book, becomes criticized as a parent because she's not optimizing technology to keep track of her children. Um, and again, I think that's something I can easily imagine happening. So I think again, the world that Helen Phillips creates in this book is something I just wholeheartedly buy into. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect of this book. So those are the 4 books that I read in the month of September. And those are the books that I really want people to take a look at and consider picking up. All right. Thanks so much.